the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Welcome to another edition of Football 24/7. He's John McMullen. I am Tone DeShields II, and we are your humble hosts. Thank you guys so much for locking in on the content. Today has been eventful once again. First things first, before we get into the nitty-gritty, make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys continue to comment below, and make sure you guys are subscribed to the JAKIB Sports YouTube channel. And if you want more from John McMullen, make sure you guys check him out on jakibsports.com. That's JAKIB Sports.com. Now, John, let's hop right into it, man. Jalen Reagor, it's official. He's heading to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, can you elaborate on the details of this trade? What did the Eagles give up? What did the Eagles get in return?
Well, the Eagles gave up Jalen Reagor. They got a seventh-round pick next year and then a conditional fourth the year after. And it's kind of funny because usually when you say conditional fourth, fifth, the condition is moving up. In this case, the condition is moving down from 4 to 5. If Jalen Reagor doesn't meet certain landmarks, which I do not know yet what those landmarks are. So essentially, best case scenario, the Eagles got a 7 and a 4, not in the same year, but in consecutive years. Worst case, a 7 and 5. He wasn't in their plans. I've said it for a long time. Change of scenery was needed for both sides. Ironic, just like J.J. Arcega-Whiteside going to Seattle with DK Metcalf. Jalen Reagor's going to Minnesota with Justin Jefferson. So, but they want him. They were one of the teams that were heavily involved in trying to get Jalen Reagor, and obviously that's why Jalen. A lot of people say, just cut him, just cut him, just cut him. The Eagles were never going to cut him. You got to prove to people around this league that you're not going to cut a player. Then they'll give something else, something up for him. In this case, the Eagles were able to get, two later round picks. Odds are against it panning out, but at least they got something for Jalen Reagor. And I'm interested. I think this is good for Jalen Reagor because there's not the pressure on him that there was here. He's not expected. He'll be the fourth receiver coming in. Minnesota's very deep at receiver, but they need a punt returner. And he'll be their punt returner, just like he was going to be the punt returner here. And he'll get an opportunity. It's Justin Jefferson. It's Adam Thielen. It's KJ Osborne. But remember, Kevin O'Connell's the new head coach out there. So, they're bringing that Rams system. So there's going to be a lot of 11 personnel, but there's also going to be a lot of 4 wides. So he'll get opportunities to play and get the football. He's never going to see a double team with those 2 receivers out there. Never. So he's got, and he's got a high volume quarterback. He's got a quarterback that throws for 4,000 yards every single year. So no more excuses for Jalen Reagor. He'll get an opportunity out there, and we'll see if he can turn it around.
So essentially, Howie Roseman, this entire offseason, he's been trying to up the value of Jalen Reagor, and he's been having to essentially go through all the motions as if this guy has some level of value to the organization, correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, you never want to downplay any player that you're looking to trade. It does no good. One of my criticisms of Kyle Shanahan with Jimmy Garoppolo, every time he found a microphone, it was like, no, we're moving on. We're moving on. Does no good. And Howie's very savvy, very smart. So he was never going to downplay the player in public. No good can come of it. I know it would make fans happy, but you're probably happier. You hear all the things. I take a bag of footballs. Well, he got 2 picks for him. So, that's why you do business the way Howie Roseman does business. And now also, I see people spiking the football and saying Howie's the greatest ever and he got something for Jalen Reagor.
Devil's in the details.
They also drafted Jalen Reagor in the first round ahead of Justin Jefferson. So, remember that part of the equation.
Exactly, right? You said something really interesting. The fact that that's an asset that he decided to bring into the organization. He decided to spend first-round capital on Jalen Reagor to bring him into the city, had him here for essentially 3 years, almost 4 if he would have stayed for this entire season, and you got nothing out of it. And I mean nothing. I mean, you got a punt return for a touchdown, sure. You got a couple touchdowns in garbage time, maybe, but Jalen Reagor hasn't produced in a 3-year span with the Philadelphia Eagles. He hasn't even been able to give you 800 receiving yards between 3 seasons, and he's a first-round talent. So,
well, two, but it's still bad. I mean, if you look at it, Justin Jefferson, obviously, Reagor 121, Jefferson 122. Jefferson has 3,000 receiving yards over that span. But again, I think there's assumption. I've said this a lot. The assumption is you parachute Justin Jefferson into this offense and you're getting the same numbers. No, it's not how it works. Again, they have a high volume quarterback. The Eagles have a different offense. The Eagles aren't looking to throw for 4,000 yards. That's not how they play offense. So
they would like to, but that's not what they are.
Yeah. So, would he be a good receiver? Yeah, he's a great receiver. So they made a mistake. But I think people say, oh, if you put, Justin Jefferson's going to get 1,500 yards in this offense, or A.J. Brown's going to get 1,500. No, he's not. Because that's not what this offense does. So you have to put that in the equation as well. But, end of the day, Jalen Reagor didn't work out here. He's got talent. We'll see if he can turn it around with the change of scenery. And so many ironies because he goes to where Justin Jefferson is and he comes back here in week 2. He can't get away from either. Can't get away from Jefferson, can't get away from Philadelphia.
And that's my concern, right? Because I understand how we sent him to essentially a situation that could be a winning situation, right? The Vikings have a pretty potent offense, if you ask me.
I don't know what they have a potent offense. I don't know if it's a good football team, but they do have a potent offense.
Exactly. It's a salvageable situation he's in. And, you said something really interesting. He can't shake either demon. He can't shake either ghost. He can't shake the Eagles ghost. He can't shake the Justin Jefferson ghost. And I have to ask, right, what does that do for his psyche? Being in the same receiver room that your entire career has been compared to this one guy in this wide receiver room. Me personally, I don't think that would help me.
Yeah, and that's something for Kwesi Odofa-Mensah to answer for, because that was the issue with Jalen Reagor here. I mean, look, he lacked confidence. He lost his confidence.
Right. And you think he's going to get his confidence back, Ben? Not you, and they think he's going to get his confidence back all of a sudden, Ben, next to the guy that people have compared him to for 3 seasons?
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't have made the deal if I were Minnesota, but
so what do they see in him?
They see talent. They see traits. They see, I think one of the revisionist history part of this is the Eagles overdrafted Jalen Reagor. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. He went right where he was supposed to go. And if the Eagles would have taken Jefferson, Minnesota was going to trade down and take a cornerback. I believe New Orleans was next. I'm not positive, but New Orleans was one of the next picks. They were going to take him. Green Bay was in that range too. They were going to take him as well. So this sort of revisionist history that the Eagles made this out of the box pick, and Jalen Reagor wasn't graded as a first round pick by a number of NFL teams is just blatantly false. And some of these teams look at the situation in Philadelphia, and this happens all over the league, and they'll say, with talented players, they'll say, we won't do that. We won't screw it up. They screwed it up. We won't screw it up. And they talk themselves into it. So, go on YouTube and search, or go on Twitter and search for the one-handed catch against New England in the joint practice. This guy's got enormous talent. And I'm talking about Jalen Reagor. I know Eagles fans don't believe that. But that's why teams will take chances on guys with that kind of skill set, those kinds of traits, time and time again, until think about the Eagles with Nelson Aguilar. How bad was he the first 2 years? So a lot of people were saying, well, and then comes the Super Bowl year. But Nelson, wasn't really great the Super Bowl year. He had a great Super Bowl. He was just a lot better than he was his first 2 seasons. It never clicked for him, though. Never clicked for him. Was always open. Always. Tremendous athleticism. Couldn't track the football. Couldn't catch the football consistently. In Jalen Reagor's situation, he's got no confidence. Can he rebuild his confidence? I don't know. The first step, I tell him, if he didn't block me, get the hell off social media. Number one, get off. Don't even think about looking at social media, and just focus on doing your job, and we'll see if he can turn it around. I hope. He's a nice kid. He's a hard worker. One of the things, and I said it this week on Birds 365 again, that I think has been completely unfair is people that say he doesn't give effort. I have never seen Jalen Reagor not give effort. He's had a bunch of issues in his personal life. Back-to-back years. His best friend at TCU this year with Jeff Gladney passed away in a car accident. The year before, a very close relative passed away. His grandmother recently passed away. He's had a lot of issues off the field. I personally, I'm rooting for him. I hope he can turn it around, but I haven't seen any evidence that he's going to be what he was expected to be coming out of TCU.
So we know what the team needed, right? We know what the GM was looking for. They were clearly looking for a return guy in Jalen Reagor, but you used to cover the Vikings in Minnesota earlier in your career, correct?
Yes.
So I have to ask, right? I mean, I don't know if you still have ties down there, but what's the pulse of the media bringing in Jalen Reagor? What's the pulse of that group? Because again, he's well documented, and I'm just curious to know what the media in Minnesota is thinking about this move that they've made.
Yeah, I mean, they think, remember, he's not a first-round pick there. He's somebody coming in as a fourth receiver. He's somebody coming in to be the punt returner. They cut a receiver by the name of Emir Smith-Marset, who's a second-year player. I think it was a 4th or a 5th-round pick. Wasn't very good, fumbled a bunch in the preseason as a punt returner. So they're probably looking at it as it's an upgrade. And there's a big difference. Expectations are different. Same thing with Derek Barnett. I have this argument. You listen. You're the producer, Tone. I have this argument with Jody Mack all the time. If you take away that first round tag off Derek Barnett and say he's a third round pick, you say, man, that's pretty good rotational player. But he's a first round pick. He'll always be a first round pick in Philadelphia. Jalen Reagor will always be a first round pick in Philadelphia. He's going to a new situation. They don't give a rat's ass what he did in Philadelphia. Is he better than Emir Smith-Marset? Yes. Is he, will he be anything of value? He doesn't really have to be from a receiving standpoint unless Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen goes down. And again, if those guys are out there, and even KJ Osborne is the third receiver, and he's really good. He's never going to see a double team. So, and he's got a quarterback that can deliver the football. He's set up nicely. This is a good situation. There are a lot of teams. I said Green Bay. It's interesting because, it was Green Bay, it was Minnesota, it was Chicago. Chicago would have been a disaster for Jalen because they have nothing going on offensively. I said I wanted to see Jalen in Green Bay. I really wanted to see him in Green Bay because I think Aaron Rodgers could make you a star. I'm not going to say me because I'm too old. But I think Aaron Rodgers could make.
Don't flatter me, John. Don't flatter me, John.
I think Aaron could make you a star. I think he would have made Jalen Reagor a star. Kirk Cousins he's not Aaron Rodgers, but it's a good situation for Jalen Reagor because that guy, and I'll look it up as we're talking. His numbers, I think people don't realize just how, when I use that term, how high volume of a passer he has been in his career. Because
he's thrown 4,000 yards for like the past 7 seasons, consistently.
It's unbelievable. So going back to 2015 in Washington, 41.66, 49.17, 4,093, 42.98, 42.65, 42.21. His worst year was when the Vikings were really good in 2019. He threw for 3,600 yards because they had the great running attack, but he completed 69% of his passes. His passer rating was off the charts. I mean, they might not win football games because their defense isn't very good, but they're going to have, and they have Dalvin Cook. They have Irv Smith Jr. at tight end. I mean, they are loaded.
He's in a good situation. So, 2 final questions, then we're going to, close this thing out. Eagles Vikings week 2. That's going to be a movie. I think we all can say that. And it's so interesting. Again, the dynamic. Justin Jefferson, Jalen Reagor versus AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. That.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't get too caught up. It's not, it's going to be Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. It's not going to be Jalen Reagor.
That's true. That's very true. But the storylines, right?
Yeah. Jalen's not going to play a lot in that offense. He's not going to play a lot.
Now, need I say this though, really, really quickly, John? Not to cut you off, but Adam Thielen has struggled to stay healthy these past couple seasons.
Yeah, and he has, and that's part. And I don't want to wish injury on anybody, but that's where potentially Jalen will get an opportunity. But again, it would be KJ Osborne before Jalen Reagor. But Minnesota's going to play the Rams offense, essentially. A little bit of tweaks here and there. So they're going to use 11 personnel a lot. And 3 receivers are going to be on the field. And if there's 3 receivers on the field and you're the 4th receiver, it's think about Zach Pascal here. You're going to get playing time. You're going to get some playing time, but you're not going to be the high volume Jefferson, Thielen, but but that's good because, opposing defenses, believe me, Jonathan Gannon's not going to be game planning for Jalen Reagor in week 2 when you got to deal with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook, et cetera, et cetera.
Final question. Is Howie Roseman redeeming himself? Like we said before,
what's
GM.
he redeeming? What's he redeeming? Okay. Eagles fans have to look in the mirror if they think Howie Roseman is redeeming himself. He's a top 5 GM. I've said it. I got killed for it. Again, no apologies. I never get the apologies. Now everybody's in Howie's corner. Howie wins trades.
Well, let me rephrase it then. Is he redeeming himself as a talent evaluator? These past couple drafts have been pretty good for him.
No, I don't think so. I think the assumption is that nobody misses on first round picks or nobody misses on second round picks, and every team does. Every and the longer you're around, and Howie's been around a long time over 2 different stints, obviously. I mean, to assume he's never going to miss on picks. And then the second part, the assumption is, look, it's his name. His name's on the pick, but all these teams have scouts and personnel people, and they're doing the late work. And a lot of times, to be honest, the coaching staff wanted Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson, and Howie gave the coaching staff what they wanted.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was the other way around.
No. The coaching staff wanted Jalen Reagor. They wanted what they described as a vertical and horizontal presence to stretch the field.
Tyreek Hill type, basically.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill. I laugh about that to this day. A Tyreek Hill type presence. And they thought Justin Jefferson was more of a slot receiver. And the Eagles weren't the only team. Remember, Justin Jefferson won 22, right? Now, he's easily a top 5 player in that draft. You could argue he's the best player in that draft, to be honest. He won 22. A lot of people thought he was just a slot receiver. And guess what? Minnesota started him out as just a slot receiver. Then they had an injury. They threw him outside, and they said, oh, wow, he can do this. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Man, you heard it here first, you guys. Look, this has been a really interesting episode of Football 24/7. Look, Eagles fans, you guys have finally been able to part ways with Jalen Reagor. So now you can breathe some sigh of relief. But look, at the end of the day, you guys, we have to focus on what's in front of us, not really what's behind us. Jalen Reagor is behind us now. Move on. Let it go. It is what it is. Howie Roseman made the bad pick. Bad picks happen. It's a part of the game. You win some, you lose some, but you live. You live to fight another day. You guys were tuned into Football 24/7 with John McMullen, and I am your host, Tone DeShields II. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys continue to comment below, especially if you're watching this after the fact. Stay engaged, you guys. All the engagement really helps the content. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the JAKIB Sports YouTube channel and check out more from John McMullen on JAKIBsports.com. That's JAKIB Sports.com. And on top of that, make sure you guys are locked in on the new postgame show coming this season, September 11th to be exact. Going to be shooting live from Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. You're going to see Derek Gunn, Mike Missinelli, Seth Joyner, and Devin Caney. I repeat, this will be the best live post-game show in the city of Philadelphia, covering your Philadelphia Eagles. You do not want to miss this. Make sure you guys are locked in. You can tune in on the JAKIB Sports YouTube channel, and also you guys can lock in on 6abc.com, and they're going to be recording live from Ocean Casino's new sports book, The Gallery, where you can place all your sports bets, get good drinks, get good food, and catch the ultimate vibe in Atlantic City by the water. So, John, as always, it's a pleasure, my man. You guys, smash that like button. Take care. You guys were locked in on Football 24/7. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry. And take care.
Go for the pulls and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.